Hi, this is our scoring guidelines series continuing, and this is the 10-meter loop. It's the 10-meter loop off the track in the working jog. And this is in basic. Most of it of this is in the basic work. So to continue with the ideas here, when a judge looks at what's going on and they feel like that it's balanced, it has fluid changes of bend, it gets out to it gets out to X. The gates are free, active, and elastic. It's accurate geometry. Then they're going good. 8, good. 9, very good. 10, excellent. And what makes most movements brilliant is energy, activity. What is the difference between sort of a pretty good one and a good one? Almost every judge will tell you this looked energetic, it looked active, it looked brilliant. When you get to the 7 and 7.5, which most of us are in those categories, a judge is usually sitting there going, oh, I wish it was a little more brilliant. I wish it had a little more energy. Think about the energy, that the impulsion is steady. Mostly it's harmonious, it's in connection, i.e. it's round to the bridle, round to the hand, round to the bossal. It has engagement, but that little tiny bit more of energy may be what will push you from a 7 or a 7.5 to an 8, 9, or 10. So really you want to think about that. What's really important too is looking at the movement itself. Almost all of these movements begin at least at A or C before. So the corner before and often the corner afterwards is included in this movement. So be sure that you're in the corner before, that you make smooth, accurate changes of bend, that the length of a horse's body is about 4 to 5 feet. And when we talk about the length of a horse's body, we're talking about its chest to its rump. That amount of the horse is going to go up 2x and make the turn, that there's going to be at least a step or so sort of at that center line point. The interesting thing about this 10-meter loop, though, is that if you put half of your horse over the center line, so you actually bisect the center line, it kind of looks like you went over the center line. And most of us that are coaches as well as judges tell you that the very best marks are given to the people who ride right up to that line and they put their stirrup, they put their foot, their outside foot over that line, but they don't put a lot of the horse over the line, because if they do, then the judge perceives that you went over the line. It's really important too that when you go out there to X, that you have your guarding outside leg on, because if the judge sees that you went out there and then all of a sudden your horse's haunches flip out as you make a too abrupt turn back, oh man, that's a big deduction. So you're thinking about all of this while you're trying to negotiate this smooth bending and changes of bend and turns. When you get down to the marks that are kind of 6 and 6.5, when a student calls me up and says, Miss I got a 6, I got a 6.5, I'm thinking unsteady connection. That's the number one thing to be in the 6 range: unsteady connection or lack of impulsion. Horse looked inactive, inactive, inactive. And when they are inactive or they lack impulsion, not actively forward, short tracking, you can't keep a steady connection because you don't have enough impulsion to keep it. Impulsion and connection are intimately tied together. And if you don't have enough impulsion, you can't keep them steadily on the bit. And they do go downhill and they do get on their forehand. And then we start using that word, oh, gee, don't we hate to see strung out? Strung out. Oh, no, that means lacking impulsion on the forehand. Neck and pole probably low. So when you're in the 6.5 range, you're probably in the wrong balance. Might be pull low, shoulders low, neck low. If the horse goes behind the vertical, 6.5, and lower, because we do not want horses face behind vertical. They absolutely have to have their poll above their withers. You can't be going around poll below withers. And that can be lower than a 6.0. If the poll is consistently below the withers, that can be lower than a 6.0. So got to be really careful with that balance. Got to be thinking about this. The poll has to be above the withers, especially in basic. In intro, the poll has to be above the withers, but by basic, we're expecting the horse to be active, a little more uphill. It's going to be moving along a little more. So really watch that balance. When you get down to the marks that are 4.5 to 5.5, things are going wrong. And you're thinking, oh no, like when horse went completely off the bit, you went to turn and he flung his head up, that he was above the bit is going to be a 5, above the hand, above the connection, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. The tempo varies, not just a little, but a lot. Or the loop is clearly not 10 meters, is going to be 4.55, 4. It's a big deduction if you don't get out there and get all the way back. And if you're far enough off from that, of course, they can always blow the whistle and you get a error. So you want to be paying attention to that. And the 4.0, when you're down to a 4.0 and 3.0, well, you've had some kind of a little disaster, like the horse broke gait, maybe got to the walk or got excited and loped a little bit, is mouth open, flipping the head constantly. If it's flipping, gets to flipping the head on you constantly, got distracted by something and stops. So those kind of things going on. So you're looking for a smooth, active, forward flowing movement. And if you have to err between being more active and less active, keep in mind it's Western dressage, but it's not Western pleasure. Our working gaits are active. They're going to get us from ranch to ranch, and brilliance comes from impulsion. So go for activity. Okay, this is a little teaser to get you started in the scoring guidelines, but we have an entire self-guided course for you on all of these guidelines, and we hope you will join in. And hug your horse for us, and we'll talk to you soon.